Dear students, welcome to our science episode. Today we are going to discuss matter and its characteristics. Matter and its characteristics. What is matter? Did you ask yourself before, what is matter? What about this picture? Milk, Coke, a bell, balloons, pen, books, pear. What do you think? Which is matter and which is not? All of them is matter. Matter is surrounding us everywhere. Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space, or in another word, has volume. So, matter is anything that has mass, and mass is the amount of matter in an object. And matter has volume. And volume is the amount of space something takes up. Let's discuss together what is mass. Can you see this weight? It's 1 kilogram. 1 kilogram, which is equal to 1,000 grams. This is called mass. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. What about this cube? 11 centimeter height, or one side is 11 centimeter, this one is 9 centimeter, and the width or this side is 13 centimeter. So if we will multiply the three sides together, we get something called volume. Volume is amount of space taken by this cube. This is volume. Now let's discuss together different properties of matter. What about the color? Matter differs in color. Look to the copper, reddish, silver, it's metallic color, iron, and gold. So, is there any difference between the color of these metals? Yes. So, this means that matter has different colors. Taste. Look to these jars. Flour, sugar, and salt. The three of them are white. What do you think if you will taste them? Are they going to taste the same? Of course, no. So, matter has different taste. Smell. Is there any difference between the smell of the vinegar and the perfume? Of course, yes. So again, matter has different smells. There are also some substances with no color, taste, or smell, like water and oxygen gas. Density. What do you know about density? Suppose we have three different cubes: gold, wood, and iron. The three of them have equal volume, which is 1 centimeter cube. What do you conclude about their densities? What can you predict about their densities? Are they the same? No, they are not the same. Even if the volume is equal, the density is not equal, because they are different matter, different kinds of matter. So each matter has its own density. Look to this example. Here is a sponge, and here is a cube made of brick. So what about the brick and the sponge? Of course, the brick is heavier than the sponge. And if you get a metal cube, it will be heavier, just as a brick is heavier than a sponge of the same size. So although they have the same size, but the brick cube is heavier than the sponge. So this means that it is more dense. So the heavier object is more dense. To calculate density, we divide the mass by volume. Mass in grams and volume in centimeter cube. So the unit of measurement of density is gram per centimeter cube. What is meant by density of aluminum is 2.7 gram per cubic centimeter. It means that the mass of unit volume of 1 cubic centimeter of aluminum is 2.7 gram. This means that inside 1 cubic centimeter of aluminum, and this is called volume, there is 2.7 grams of aluminum as mass. So mass divided by volume. Another question. What is meant by the mass of unit volume, which is 1 cubic centimeter of iron, is 7.8 gram. I'm giving you the volume, which is 1 cubic centimeter, and the mass, which is 7.8 gram. What do you think I need? Yes, density. This means the density is 7.8 mass divided by the volume, which is 1, which is equal to 7.8 gram per cubic centimeter. Now prepare your paper and please calculate the density of lead if its mass is equal to 57 grams and its volume is equal to 5 cubic centimeter. A very easy problem and direct and straightforward to the point. You have the mass and you have the volume. How can you get the density? Exactly. Density equal mass divided by volume. And if you will make the division, you will find it equal to 11.4 gram per cubic centimeter. Now, look to this glass cube. The length of its side is 2 centimeters. Calculate the mass of the cube if you know that the density of glass is known to be 2.6 gram per cubic centimeter. In this problem, we have the length of the side and we have the the density, and you are going to calculate the mass. First of all, how can we get the volume of this cube? The cube, all its sides are squares. So this means that all sides are equal. So 2, here 2, here 2, here 2. All of the sides are equal to 2 centimeters. So the volume will be 2 times 2 times 2 equal to 8 centimeter cube. If now we know the volume and we know the density, how can we get the mass? From the previous equation, which is density equal mass over volume, we can conclude that mass equal density times volume. Therefore, mass equal 2.6, which is the density, times the 8, which is the volume. It will give you 20.8 gram per cubic centimeter. What do you think if we want to measure the density of liquids? How can we calculate the density of liquids? Of course, liquids are matter and they have density. So here is a question for you. Calculate the density of the liquid if the mass of the empty cylinder is equal to 75 grams and the mass of the full cylinder equal 135 grams and the volume of the liquid is 100 cubic centimeters. How can we get the mass of the liquid? This is by subtracting the mass of the empty cylinder from the mass of the filled cylinder with the solution. So 135, which is the full cylinder, minus 75, which is the empty one, we will get 60 grams, which is the mass of the solution without the glass, without the cylinder. So now we have the mass and we already have the volume, 100 cubic centimeter. So density equal mass divided by volume, which is 60 divided by 100, giving you 0.6 gram per cubic centimeter. Here is another example for you. After you put a 78 gram piece of metal, and 78 gram, of course, is the mass, in a cylinder filled with 100 centimeter cube of water, and the 100 centimeter cube is the volume. The water surface rises up from the level of 100 cubic centimeter, it becomes 110 cubic centimeter. So the water level rises up after putting the piece of metal in the cylinder. Calculate the density of the metal piece. We have the mass of the metal piece. So what is missing? The volume. How can we get the volume of the metal piece? We will get the volume of the metal by subtracting 100, the first level, from the second level, 110. So it will give me 10 centimeter cube. This is the volume of the metal. Then density equal mass divided by volume, which is 78 divided by 10 equal to 7.8 gram per cubic centimeter. Now, what will happen to the density of a substance when its mass increases to the double or decrease to the half? What do you think? Nothing will change. The density will not change because it will stay the same even when the mass or the volume of the substance changes. So as a conclusion, different substances have different densities, and there is no two pure substances having the same density. So each pure substance has its own unique density. Now look at these cubes and tell me why substances with equal volume have different mass. Yes, because they are different substances. They are made of different matter, and different matter have different densities. Why substances with equal mass have different volume? Look, they have equal mass. Look to the scale, it's balanced. But look to the volume here. The space taken by this object is more than this. Why? It's the same answer, because they are different substances. And different substances have different densities, even if the volume changes. Let's have a look at this activity. You get a trough full of water and try to put a piece of wood, a cork, an ice cube, pour some oil, and a coin and a nail. And look what will happen. What do you observe? I'm sure that you will find the wood, the cork, the ice cube, and the oil patch will float on the surface. They will not sink because they have less density than water. While you will find the nail and the coin sinking to the bottom of the trough. Why? Because the densities are more than the density of water. So let's answer some questions together. Give reason. Why are party balloons filled with helium or hydrogen gases? You know the party balloons that rises up? We use them in carnivals and parties. They have to be filled with helium or hydrogen gases. That is because the density of helium or hydrogen is less than the density of air. So these balloons rise up. Question number 2. Give reason why water is not used to extinguish petroleum oil fire. When there is a fire, when there is a petroleum fire, we don't use water to put it off? This is because the density of petroleum oil is less than that of water. So it will float on the surface and keep burning. Why is density used to detect the quality of a substance? Do you remember when we said that each pure substance has a unique density? And density is a unique property of substances. So we can depend on density to measure the quality and the purity of any substance we know. Now choose the correct answer. You can distinguish between salt and sugar using, yes, taste. A substance floats on the surface of water. What is its mass if its volume is 20 cubic centimeters? 15. If the density of 1 cubic centimeter aluminum is 2.7 gram per cubic centimeter, so the density of 100 cubic centimeter of aluminum is equal to the same, 2.7 gram per cubic centimeter, because we agreed that density will stay the same even if the mass or the volume changes. How can you identify the quality of a milk sample knowing that the density of pure milk is 1.03 gram per cubic centimeter? You can do this by knowing the volume and the mass of the sample. If you know the volume and the mass of the sample you have, then you can calculate its density. If it is 1.03, similar to the density of pure milk, then it is pure. And if it is not 1.03, then it is not pure. Dear students, thank you for watching. See you later in other science episodes.